We're going to talk to Emma McClarkin very shortly, for the CEO of the British Beer and Pub Association. A couple of quick messages for you, though. Sean says this: "Morning, Mike. I was speaking to some 20-somethings who were doing a job for us yesterday. We got onto the subject of driving in Oxford. One of them said he regretted voting Labour because of all the traffic restrictions coming in. Another one was concerned about Labour bringing in 15-minute cities." And that's Sean in Bicester. And Sue says, "Keir Starmer wants to ban smoking outside pubs, etc. Most people are vaping these days. Is that OK?" Well, that's an interesting point, because I don't know. They haven't said. I know they're trying to make vaping sort of less popular. They're trying to bury vapes so that you can't actually see them in shops, so that, you know, you have to ask for them like you have to ask for cigarettes, which are hidden away. But you see an awful lot more people vaping now than you do smoking, generally speaking. Let's talk to Emma McClarkin and see what she can tell us. Emma, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thanks very much for joining us. This is not great news for the Beer and Pub Association, I was imagining. I was talking to a restaurant owner I know the other day who was complaining that, you know, the restrictions are bad enough at the moment, but if the Labour government put on any more restrictions, it's going to really start costing them a lot of money.
Well, the Labour government said that it had a plan for growth for our local economies and a 5-point plan to support pubs. And it's very hard to see that this ban on smoking would have a positive impact for us. It would, in fact, have a deleterious impact for us. We know that when the smoking ban inside was announced in 2007, we lost 10% of our trade overnight. And I have to say that is absolutely something that our businesses right now cannot afford. Some of them are hanging on. Simply that 10% could be the difference between opening or closing their doors for good. And we know that over the 3 years after the smoking ban originally in 2007, we saw 2,000 pubs close their doors. So we really want the government to be reconsidering this proposal or leaked proposal, and making sure that when it does make announcements, they are supporting pubs at the heart of the communities.
Well, right, because hospitality's sort of been on its knees for quite some time, ever since COVID, really, hasn't it? And you don't really need any help to go any further into debt, do you?
Unfortunately not. It's been a very difficult time, you know, but even outside of the pandemic, that year of the smoking ban was the worst trading on record, and that is something that we know and have the data on. And in fact, what the gardens did, even during COVID as well, is invest in their outdoor spaces to make them more inclusive.
Right.
And this would be an exclusive policy. This would be excluding people from our safe, regulated environments. We believe going to the pub is good for your mental and social well-being. And that is something that we offer. And without pubs at the heart of our communities, they would be poorer and they wouldn't be as healthy as communities.
Well, that's right. I mean, we were talking to some people earlier today who said, look, people will still drink, they'll just drink at home, which means they'll drink more and they'll drink faster, they'll smoke more, and, you know, they'll just not talk to people, and they'll become reclusive, and they'll, you know, it's not good for the community.
Well, people don't go to the pub to smoke. You know, they go to connect as communities, to connect as friends, as human beings.
Right.
And they drink socially there to have a good time, to feel part of a community. And they add not only an economic benefit to our towns and villages and high streets. I'm here in the Castle and Bull in Marlborough today. But we absolutely need a period of sustainable growth and recovery. We are still in a fragile state. And we need the government to lean in and support us. And how can it do that? By reducing business rates, by reducing beer duty, by encouraging more pubs to stay open at the heart of the communities, providing that community hub. And this is a policy, if it was held up by the government, if it was introduced by this government, it would have a detrimental impact on the future health of our pubs.
And I mean, have you heard anything about what's coming your way in the budget in October? Rachel Reeves is part of this kind of doom and gloom society, isn't she, where, you know, they're all saying, oh, things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. Well, it's easy for them to say, because it's not going to get a lot worse for them. You know, they've still got their subsidised drinking in the House of Commons, and they've got their expenses that they can put on whenever they go out for lunch. And, you know, they don't feel the same pain that everybody else feels.
Well, this is going to be the government's first test. And what are Labour really standing for? Are they going to actually hold up the promises that they made at the election? Are they going to do that 5-point plan to support our pubs at the heart of their communities? Or are they going to take this very, very detrimental action that will have a negative impact on our pubs and our brewers up and down this country? So we'll be asking them to make sure that they are fulfilling those promises, reducing business rates, looking at also reducing beer duty and keeping our pubs thriving at the heart of those local economies. That is what we want to see.
And the other thing about it's not just the pub gardens, but, you know, a lot of pubs maybe that don't have a garden, they're going to ban smoking outside the pub, like if you're standing on the pavement. We had a caller earlier, actually, who said all you got to do is just walk up and down and pretend you're actually not at the pub at all. But, you know, I mean, it's ridiculous. Why can't you smoke on a public street?
Well, I just think that the publican should be able to make the decisions about its own beer gardens. They already heavily regulated environments. We provide these spaces, inclusive spaces for everybody, every walk of life to come into our pubs. It's been the great leveller for generations. And we just need that ability to be supporting our businesses, making the right decisions for our pubs and those communities and their customers. That's what they want to be able to do. And that's what I think the government should support. It should be supporting people in making those decisions for themselves.
Absolutely right. Emma, thanks very much indeed. Good to talk to you. Emma McClarkin there from the British Beer and Pub Association.